Welcome everybody to TacosandGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews. And today we're going to be talking about the video game Last Time I Saw You, which is out now, available for your PC and console devices. As always, we give you a brief synopsis of the story. So without further ado, here we go. And of course, the story section will be spoiler free. So let's get into it. Last Time I Saw You is a coming of age narrative adventure about love and acceptance, an uplifting story rich with complex characters set in a vibrant, imagined vision world of the late 1980s Japan. Joy Ayumi on an exciting tale of self discovery in which he'll face his first tentative steps into adulthood and confront the terrible curse that has fallen upon his town. In an adventure filled with love, friendship, and all the trials of adolescence, you'll meet a colorful cast of characters along the way, from school friends and gossiping townfolks to samurai crows and kappas, as well as the little girl of your dreams. And that's pretty much the gist of it when it comes to the overview of the game. This has been just an amazing year for narrative driven games of 2024. I mean, one of my favorites this year was Until Then, and I'm definitely going to add now Last Time I Saw You on this list as well. This was a really good story. I really like the character of Ayumi here, and I'm not gonna go into really deep, too heavy into the plot because obviously I want you to play it for yourself, and we're gonna keep the spoiler section spoiler free when it comes to the story, of course. But what I did really did enjoy about this is that it is really just it's not just a tale of coming of age story for Ayumi, but it really is just a coming of age story for the community, the town, the people. Because this game is a slow burn. It does take a little bit because they focus a lot on story and character driven. It's a lot of dialogue in this game, folks. And I like the fact that yes, the pacing at times can feel a little draggy, but it's taking its time for you to really get to know and connect with everyone in this small little town. This town is unfortunately cursed by a spirit that just keeps threatening the town with constant typhoons. So the town is soon going to be in danger of going under. Not to get into more detail heavy into the plot, but this also connects to Ayumi's dream girl, or the girl that he keeps seeing visions of, that is telling him to go into the forest, and they team up to try to save the town. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about the particular story. But they have some really great characters, from the mystical creatures that you get to see that's really taken from Japanese folklore, to his school friends that are there for building blocks that really support him. And I really did enjoy the story. So, with that being said, folks, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay and graphics. Since this was reviewed on my PC, I'm going to go to my Steam page real quick and review, or not review, just read those who are going to plan to play this on this PC, the system requirements. Now, for your OS, for the minimum is Windows 10 version or higher. Your processor is dual core 3.0, GHz processor, memory 8 gigs. Then you have your graphics, which is DirectX 11 compatible graphics card with at least 1 gig of memory. DirectX version 11, and then your storage space needs to be at least 2 gigs. It's not gonna take that. It's not gonna take that much space, folks. Sound card is DirectX excuse me, compatible sound card. And additional notes is of course 720p, 16.9 recommended for those for the minimum requires. The game runs very very well, even if you have like on a lower settings. I have a decent now strong PC where I'm able to just play almost everything now. So this thing worked very smoothly, no hiccups with me, no frame rate issues or anything else like that. But let's talk about the gameplay, because since this is a narrative game, that does not mean that you're not going to be able to use Ayumi. There's a lot of things that you're able to do in this game. One thing I was actually pleasantly surprised is that this game, if you really take the time to explore this world, you're gonna find little hints and little Easter eggs that's in here. And one thing I really did like about this game is that they actually include a game within a game, and I love when games do this. So in this game, Ayumi gets to play a fictional game because he's a gamer himself. He likes to play video games. He has a video game cartridge that he finds that he has in his house. So you get to play the games that he has in his house, which is actually pretty good. But what really works for this is that yes, it's a narrative-driven game. Dialogue does affect the story to a degree. It affects how certain characters are viewed later on in the story. But it's not just about dialogue and making right choices. You have to explore. There's dungeons, or well, I won't even call them dungeons, but there are locations within the forest that you have to explore. There's puzzles that have to be solved. Like you have to get a lever to raise the elevator. You have to find certain keys, certain shrines. There's bosses, there's spirits, that's bad spirits that Ayumi's armed with a bat that he's able to take out. There's a lot of side quests in here, which really some might feel like it's a fetch side quest at time to time, not gonna lie, but because of the interactions that you built with these characters within the story, you're gonna be able to those side quests are more important as well because it gives you a little bit more meat to the characterization of the NPCs that you encounter in the game. Overall, while the gameplay is simplistic and it might feel slow paced for some because this is a narrative driven game, I did like the gameplay of this. It's simple, it's easy, but it's mostly for the most part the story is what's driving. The puzzles wasn't too challenging as well, but it's what's the story that's really driving this particular game here. Now it comes to the graphics, chef's kiss. I say that when I mean I absolutely love this animation, hand style, hand drawn type of graphics here. This game is gorgeous from the way its lighting is, the color palettes, and I love the way it shifts too as well. There's times in the game where it's dark and gritty, but there's times where you just really get to see the beautiful artistry that these artists and these developers really put into the look and feel of really capturing that 1980s Japan. They did a hell of a job when it comes to the graphics. So let's go into a little bit about that soundtrack, folks. So let's check a little bit about the sound. Soundtrack's really good. Does a really good job with that nice ambient sound. Little jazz elements to this as well that really brings it out. Was actually surprised that some of the soundtracks doesn't really cater to that 1980s Japan type of style. There are a couple of tracks that pay homage to that, but for the most part, it's a really more of an atmospheric soundtrack here, and I thought it was pretty good though. Really did a good job here when it comes to the sound. No voice acting in this particular game, and truthfully, don't really need that. Kind of like the old school feel where I have to just read the dialogue, let the music really encapsulate what the tone and what the scene is trying to convey to me as the audience member or the gamer playing this. Now, as for my final thoughts on this, Last Time I Saw You is a beautiful coming of age story. I really did enjoy playing this game, and like I said, this has just been a win for narrative-driven games and story games for 2024. They really fired on all cylinders. Until then, still my favorite, but Last Time I Saw You is definitely right up there for this year. I will definitely will be giving this a buy immediately. Definitely check this one out. It's not a expensive game, so definitely a must buy. I think everyone will really enjoy the story of Ayumi and just the journey. I love the fantasy aspect of it, the fact that it just really incorporated some of the 1980s aesthetics and just actual Japanese mythology creatures in there. So definitely check this one out. This is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com. If you like what we do here, maybe we earned your subscription. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if we did, and catch you on the next review, folks. Later days.